Suddenly, there was a terrible roar all around us, and the sky was full of what looked like huge bats, all swooping and screeching and diving around the car. And a voice was screaming, "Holy Jesus, what are these damn animals?"
Hey everybody, welcome back to Gundamn at MAHQ, and this next segment is going to be part of a continuing series. It's our Anime Spotlight, where we're going to highlight an old classic show, or maybe sometimes a contemporary show that if you haven't seen, you really should. And this time I'm going to focus on Armored Trooper VOTOMS, which personally for me is one of my top 3 favorite Real Robot franchises, right behind Gundam and Macross. So before I get into it, Paul and Adam, have you guys seen any parts of the show ever?
I've watched parts of the OVAs, and I've tried to get a hold of the series, but I've noticed they're not. I think they're done now, so you can't get the box set. So
yeah,
I've been meaning to get that. I just have not, for whatever reason. I haven't really bought too much anime lately, so I'm trying to get back because I was waiting for everything to get boxed up. But
you may want to check Amazon. That's what I'm going to do to see if I can hunt down the series myself.
No, I liked the OVA, and I definitely liked the whole way, the style and the feel of the show, because it is real gritty.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through a brief rundown of the entire franchise, including the new Pales and Files. It started in October in Japan, so basically to give people a background who aren't familiar with it, and of course you can read all of the reviews on MHQ, because I've covered most of the franchise there. You've got this interstellar war between these two superpowers going on for like 100 years, and then it's one of these wars that's long that people don't even know what they're fighting for anymore. And the series focuses on this guy named Chiriko Kyuvi, who he's a pretty young guy. He's like 18 or 19, but he's pretty hardcore because he used to be a special forces pilot, and he's been in the war for so long that he's completely disconnected and dehumanized, and he just like feels nothing, and sort of gives you like that realistic effect of what war does to people, because this guy has no attachment to anything or anyone, and he's just there fighting to stay alive.
Wow.
But he's also a hardened killer, because you'll find out more about that later on. So anyway, the show begins. He is transferred into a new unit, and they're sent into this asteroid base, but he questions what they're doing because they're attacking Allied forces.
What?
And they're telling him just shut up and, do as you're told.
Yeah.
They're searching for something, and he finds this container that has this naked, bald woman in it.
Oh, wow.
And she looks at him, and it just freaks the hell out of him.
Oh.
And he finds it, but then after that, when he's sent back to do some menial task, they try to kill him with a bomb.
Oh, my.
His own men.
Right.
And he's sort of like drifting in space, and these dudes, they hightail it out of there because they think he's dead. And he gets picked up by this other branch of the military, the intelligence branch, and they think that he was in on this plot, so they're torturing him and interrogating him, but he doesn't know anything of what's going on.
He's getting a bum deal.
And eventually, he breaks free, but after what he went through, he wants to know, what the hell is going on and who was trying to kill him. And of course he's wondering who this mysterious naked bald lady was in this container. So he ends up in the city called Uodo, and the way the show is set up, it's interesting. It's divided into 4 distinct arcs that are set in 4 different locations. So the first one is Uodo, which is this it's this underground city that was created during the war. So it's really filthy and grimy, and it's pretty much lawless, and you got these like biker gangs that run the streets, and they make dirty deals with the police, and it's really pretty much like a lawless hell on earth.
Right.
Wow.
And he meets a couple of people here, and they're con artists. This old guy named Gotho, this other guy who's sort of like a gun runner named Vanilla.
Right.
Black guy named, but it's with a fro, but it's the 80s, so.
Awesome. Awesome. What a name.
Wait, did he?
Yeah, Vanilla Vartla.
Does he have a beaded jacket?
No, but he's got a giant blonde fro, so go figure. And this other girl named Kokona. So they start to help him out, and he encounters this mysterious woman who gets referred to as the Phantom Lady.
Right.
And he's fighting against this conspiracy that's in the military. And eventually what he finds out is that this woman, who he names Fianna, for some reason that even he doesn't know, she's a prototype perfect soldier. Basically is sort of like an artificial new type from Gundam.
Right.
But without being psychopathic.
Right.
Oh, okay.
And these are people basically who are bred and genetically engineered for fighting, so it may put them more in line with the super soldiers from Gundam 00, who have special modified bodies, and her body depends on this rare element called Jujarium, and she needs to take baths in this like energy of Jujarium to live, otherwise she'll die.
Oh, wow.
So Chiriko ends up getting attached to her, and that moves us to the second segment, which is Kumin. And what you really feel out of Kumin is basically you get the feeling that it's Vietnam with robots, because it's in this sort of Southeast Asian-inspired culture. And you got, like, you know, robots going through, you know, jungle rivers. And Takahashi, the director, he said he was inspired by Vietnam. So it really has that feeling. And you also see that this probably was the inspiration for a lot of the stuff in 8th MS Team, because the setting is really there, and it really feels like 8th MS Team, and, you know, in the jungle combat. But I think it's done a lot better in VOTOMS. So Chiriko ends up as a mercenary here, and he gets involved in this conflict, this religious conflict between basically the government, which wants to, you know, integrate this kingdom and modernize it, and then the kingdom that wants to stay to its traditional, you know, ideas and methods. So there's this war, and the government's using mercenaries. But the kingdom's being aided by this secret society.
Right.
Next arc moves us to this ship that Chiriko and Fianna are trapped on, and it takes them to this planet called Sunsa that was destroyed during the 100 Years' War, which ended right at the beginning of the show. I forgot to mention that.
Oh, wow.
And it really ties into Chiriko's past, because he used to be part of the Red Shoulder Battalion, and that's explored a lot in the OAVs. They're basically this super elite battalion.
Yeah.
But they're nicknamed the Bloodsucker Battalion because once they get into a battle frenzy, they'll even attack their own allies. And these guys are the most ruthless of the most ruthless. You know, their training involves live fire exercises, and you're just thrown into it. And if you don't survive, you didn't deserve to survive.
Wow, Spartans.
Pretty much. Spartans in Mecca. That's how out there the Red Shoulders are.
And with shirts on.
I wish it was fully clothed.
With shirts on.
Plus, they also mercilessly butcher civilians or anyone who gets into their way. So these guys are like the most cold-blooded of the killers, and Chiriko was once part of them. And during the last invasion of this planet, which belonged to the Balarant, and Chiriko's with the Gilgamesh, the planet's been totally destroyed. I mean, it's a barren wasteland.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you can't even breathe the air for long periods, so you need to have an oxygen pack. So that sort of, you know, sheds some more light on Chiriko's past. And then the fourth arc takes us to this planet called Quent that has this, it's this different race of humans, and they're all really tall. And they used to have advanced technology in the galaxy. But for some mysterious reason, they abandoned all technology 3,000 years ago. And they basically just live in the desert. But their people are also very well known for being good mercenaries. So they do have use as mercenaries, but otherwise they just live in villages and in canyons with no technology at all.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Man, I guess part
pretty
of the
deep.
Yeah, I mean this. I have a question.
Sure.
How did I live my whole life and not watch this show?
Well, it wasn't up until recently that they even released it over
here,
wasn't it?
It's been out here for, I'd say, how long has it been out here in America?
A decade.
They over here?
Central Park Media, I think they released it on VHS as far back as 1996.
Oh my!
But they were difficult to get, though.
Yeah.
I remember, like, I'm saying it was easier to get, like, in the last, like, 2-3 years, because I remember reading about this show a couple years back and trying to find it. It was like you would go to these various websites and they'd be all over, but out of stock.
I never seen it on the shelf, but I always see it advertised either at different anime websites I went to. Like
it's actually on my
on my
list of box sets I need to get.
Yeah.
I got a list of box sets on my bulletin board at home, and it's one of those. So
I'm not going to spoil the end of the show, but Chiriko finds his true destiny and ends up triggering another interstellar war, and some of the most awesome mech battles ever. And one of the things I really love about VOTOMS is that the mecha are really real grunts. Like, he uses a scope dog, which is like the most common mecha, and it's very customizable, but it's also pretty easy to destroy because he goes through these like faster than most people go through new pairs of underwear.
Yeah.
I mean, these things blow up at nothing.
Yeah, the robots in here are. They're pretty much true to life. Like, if we had the technology today, they're not that kind of far-reaching technology.
They're not like 50-foot tall.
No.
Super.
Well, no, they're big. They're big, but they're not.
Well, they're sensible though. They're like a walking tank, basically.
Yeah, you're gonna go through them.
Yeah. Basically, they are. They're
Yeah.
They're very small. I think they're about in total. They're like 12 or 15 feet high, so they're very compact. They don't fly. They don't do fancy things like that. They're ground pounders.
Yeah,
exactly. No breast of fire.
No breast of fire.
So,
but I do have a couple questions. My first question is: Has VOTOMS ever been used in any crossover game like Super Robot Wars, or I guess because of the scale of the robots, is probably the answer is no.
No.
But it never has been. Are there any games out on any systems that came out that are based on VOTOMS at all?
I believe there was a game called Sunrise Ayutan, Sunrise Heroes, that basically was
I remember that on
a Super Robot Wars kind of, but just Sunrise stuff, and VOTOMS was in that. Let me Google up.
I played
let me wiki up
Yutan.
Armored Trooper. It's been in a couple of things.
I played a Yutan years ago on the Dreamcast, the first one, and I never got that far, but I wish I did. But that's really cool.
There was a VOTOMS PS2 game that just came out a few months ago, but it got okay reviews. According to Wikipedia, there's been a bunch of VOTOMS games, but it did appear in Sunrise Ayutan 1 and 2, Brave Saga 2,
right,
and a Game Boy Color and Wonder Swan series called Horobots.
Horobots.
Never heard of that. But like a lot of other mecha franchises, there's a couple of sequels here, and some of them go far back as the 80s. A lot of them focus on Chiriko, his past. One of them two of them deal with the Red Shoulders. Another one's set during the TV show and shows what happens in the 1 year time jump between the end of the last episode and the epilogue. Then you've got, after that, an OAV series that's 12 episodes called Armor Hunter Marrowlink. What's neat about this is it doesn't have Chiriko, but the into the main series, and it's about this guy who his unit was betrayed by these higher-ups, and they were basically made as the fall guys for the theft of a bunch of Jujirium. And what he's doing is he's going around, and one by one he's hunting down all of these high-up officers and killing them for revenge.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty. That's the one I've seen. It's pretty cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and
no emo pilots.
What I like about this,
no emo pilots, no
just straight up hardcore.
No,
it's that no issues with killing.
Yeah,
they're trained to do this stuff.
And what I like about this show the most, as compared to a lot of other mecha shows, is that all of his opponents, they use mecha, but he's fighting them on foot. He has this anti-AT.
Yeah.
Basically has these powerful rifle shots, but it also has this bayonet that's designed to punch through a scope dog's armor.
Oh.
And a lot of the times he ends up impaling these guys or attacking them and just stabbing them through the cockpit, leading to some pretty grisly deaths.
Goodness.
It's a pretty dark show.
Yeah.
Oh, man. The good old Ultraviolet 80s, man. We need to bring it back. But that sounds like an awesome series. I mean, I have this vision in my mind that he's kind of like the Go-Go 13 of mech assassins.
Yeah.
Kind of. And then in the 90s, there was a 5-episode OAV called Shining Heresy that, the end of the TV show, Chiriko and Fiona, they went into cryogenic stasis and they got shot into a capsule in space.
Right.
And this OAV is like 30 years later, they get defrosted. It's kind of a hard show to follow, raw, because there's like these weird religious cults, and then there's these like android perfect soldiers, and it's kind of weird, but it's a series.
Wow.
And then most recently is the 12-episode OAV Pales and Files that just started out, and this is going back to even before Chiriko was in the Red Shoulder, it's just being a regular army grunt. So the series opens with this kind of impressive battle where you've got these, it's kind of like D-Day, but with scope dogs. And they're coming out of these amphibious vehicles, and they're trying to like scale this mountainside, but they're coming under attack, and you see them all getting blown up in the water, and it really feels like you're watching that opening sequence of Saving Private Ryan.
Wow.
A lot of people were hesitant because they announced that all of the mecha would be in CG.
Oh my god.
But I think they did a pretty good job on it, so I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more of that series. The next volume should be coming out right around Christmas time in Japan, and of course I should note that aside from the original TV series, none of this other stuff's ever been released in America.
Yeah.
And given that Central Park Media has had some hard times recently, I really doubt that they're ever going to get around to releasing anything else, even something new like Pales and Files that's, from 2007. So you'll have to search for these things online, but it's a real shame because it's a great franchise.
It sounds like it. I'll definitely have to step up my efforts to actually sit down and watch this show and all the other incarnations of it. Just to that's in my New Year's resolutions for 2008. There you go.
But you have to watch it, and I definitely recommend it to anybody if you've ever seen Gasaraki, or if you like Gundam, if you like your 80s robots that are nice and real and gritty, this is about the grittiest of them all.
There you go.
Aside from maybe Dugram, which is another show by Takahashi, but that show's even harder to find.
Wow.
And it's also 75 episodes, so it's pretty...
Yeah.
Ooh. Did that come before or after VOTOMS?
It was right before VOTOMS.
Wow.
From 1981, so it's one of the earliest of the real robot shows. And before I close off this segment, any other thoughts or VOTOMS?
No, I like I said, I've only seen the OVAs, and what I saw I enjoyed, and it probably will be what I get once I get all my Christmas money in a few weeks here. I'm sure I'm going to get that because it is definitely on one of those on my list of box sets that I want.
Yeah, you should pick it up online. It's pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, I'm able to find it now.
I guess my only other question is, I guess all the Takahashi's works that are out here in America would be VOTOMS, Flag, and
Gasaraki.
And Gasaraki. Yep.
And he was a producer, I believe, on Gao Geiger.
Yeah.
Gao Geiger?
I think so.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he also
greatest show ever.
Wrote an episode of Gundam 0083.
Really?
Oh, did he now?
Yes,
Do
he
you
did.
remember which one? Was that the one where they fought in the desert?
No.
And they would launch the ship?
The one he wrote was the one when Burning was killed.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
The secret of the plan is... Let's see here. Looking up his
the best character in that
his
show.
Resume in Wikipedia.
Oh, Gato.
Silent Service and The Cockpit. Those were both released here a long time ago. I don't know if they're in print anymore.
Mm-hmm.
He was director on Rurouni Kenshin, a series supervisor on Ronin Warriors / Samurai Troopers.
Ronin Warriors.
Man,
love that show.
I had no idea.
And
I guess he's a regular at Sunrise.
Oh yeah, he's one of their top directors. Area 88.
Wow.
Which one? The first one or the newer one?
Space.
I love that show.
Yeah.
I like the OVA too, but I watched every episode of the TV show and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Takahashi, so VOTOMS pretty much is the starting point of stuff that you can find, so I highly recommend that. And with that, I think that'll wrap up this segment of Anime Spotlight, and next time we'll be discussing another classic show, and we'll be right back on Gundam at MAHQ.
Hey you, get your goddamn hands off her!